Five minutes after 8 o'clock, fabulous summary Friday. It's July 5th, 2024. What's up, Kay? How you doing?
I am good. Good morning to one and all, to the diaspora, regionally and internationally, to the Federation. How are we doing on this good Friday morning? As Jams say, it's summery. Kind of rainy, but thank God for the rain because it's cooler than it normally is in the morning. So
I wasn't as soaked as I usually am.
Oh, from walking down.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I enjoyed the cool nights and I enjoy the cool mornings. I'm not going to complain. Thank you, Lord.
You know that's good though. Huh? That imagine. I mean, you heard them. In the wake of Hurricane Beryl, I heard a newscaster saying that. I also heard the Prime Minister mention it, that the waters are now warmer than they would be at this time of year.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I mentioned a few days ago, because they said that's one of the reasons. This climate change thing is real, and do you really think there's something we can do to stop it?
Well, yeah, there's something we can do. It's a matter of how significant it will be in changing things.
Oh boy. I'm looking here at Luke Caribbean and I see Hurricane Beryl deadly path. Death toll rises to 10 in the Caribbean. So it says the devastation caused by Hurricane Beryl continues to mount as the death toll in the Caribbean has now reached 10. The powerful storm has left a trail of destruction across several islands, claiming lives and causing extensive damage. Jamaica became the latest country to report a fatality when a woman in Hanover died after a tree fell on her home. And that's the same thing with the guy that died in the Grenadines. A tree fell on his house as well. So this information was confirmed by Richard Thompson, the Acting Director General of Jamaica's Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management. Beryl, then a Category 4 hurricane, skirted Jamaica's southern coast on Wednesday, leaving hundreds of thousands of homes without power. The storm's impact was even more severe when it was at its peak strength as a Category 5 hurricane, causing significant damage to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada. Both islands reported 3 deaths, each due to hurricanes. Venezuela also felt the storm effects, confirming 3 fatalities and 4 people missing. As of the latest update from the U.S. National Hurricane Center, Beryl has weakened and is moving away from the Cayman Islands. However, strong winds, dangerous storm surge, and damaging waves are expected on the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico by early Friday. Beryl be gone.
Yeah, I second that. And my heart really goes out to all the people in the windwards and all the other areas where people. I mean, I know people here. I know at least one person here from Carriacou, was actually born in Carriacou. So I'm just hoping his family members are fine and everything.
Yeah.
It was not pretty what we saw, especially in those tiny islands.
Mm-hmm.
Union Island, I haven't seen anything from Union Island, but apparently Petit Martinique, along with Union Island and along of the one we all know about, Carriacou.
Have you seen the before and after of the drone? Have you seen the before and the after of the drone pictures? It reminds me somewhat of Dominica.
No,
yeah,
I haven't seen that. You have a video? You can send it to me.
No video.
Oh,
just
okay.
But it just shows how Wow.
I know.
From
And
green to brown, it reminds me of Dominica when we went in eventually, when we could have flown to go rescue folks. It was like
yeah. Well, I just hope
white.
I just hope that we are. Everyone is aware that we're not. In fact, we probably get more hurricanes than those guys when you think about it. So we really have to. I mean, this is July 5th, and we're first ever Category 5 storm
Since
this early.
1933.
This early. Imagine that. No, there's none on record. Category 5.
But they say she's developed as fastest. She's the
Oh,
fastest
so that
developing
too.
storm
Yeah,
since
yeah,
1933.
yeah.
That's serious, boy.
Yeah,
A
I
5
know.
to start the season.
No. So
Not good. Not good at all.
and then yesterday, AZ isn't here. Yesterday we were discussing. Actually, yesterday we spent most of the show talking about
Politics.
yeah, like UK and American politics and a little bit of the French stuff. But
Labour's in government now in the UK.
yeah, because yesterday I was telling AZ yesterday that one of the things I noticed based on the reporting for the UK elections is it seems as though there's only one thing I can think of that we kind of held over from colonialism, where on election day you tend not to have any reporting. Here, I don't know if you know, the regulations say, for example, you can't wear like a Labour T-shirt or a PAM T-shirt.
And they have to
during
cut
the day.
off the
Yeah.
bottom of this signage that they put up.
And
So,
stuff like that, yeah. So I noticed yesterday morning on BBC, the anchor was saying, voting is going to end at 10, but we're not really going to do any reporting on it until after we get the exit polls at 10 o'clock that night. And so then I said, so it's kind of like, whereas in the US, election day,
Foot to foot.
yeah, election day, and people outside, they're wearing the T-shirts, they're wearing the MAGA hats.
America's different. America's on a
it's
different level.
different,
I guess
yeah.
people know who they're going to vote for either way, so there's no hiding it. And I guess their freedom of speech enables them to do whatever they want.
Although I think our election culture is kind of nanny-ish. My thing is, why can't I wear a party shirt or a hat or whatever on election day? What's different?
I mean, think it's not to cause confusion, because you see how we as a people, we kind of curse out each other, we kind of fight on that day, and then it's just weird how we behave.
You're saying like
imagine I'm going into a polling station with I'm gonna be the devil's advocate, an orange shirt, and let's say we have some yellow people in there and some red people. That's problems. Immediately they're gonna watch me funny, and then they're going to stoop at seat. I can guarantee that part. And then out in the line, people are going to say, why you don't go from here? And, all of these things. Because I've watched them curse each other out, abuse each other out, whatever.
So you're saying, let me ask you this question then. So you're saying, in our case, 1983 is when we got independence. You're saying that we are not mature enough. 1983, it's now 2024. We're not mature enough to
wear your colors and go and vote?
Yeah, leave up the boards on the
so why we don't
I got
the boards come down, do they?
I got a
Because
T-shirt.
they still have the paraphernalia on the light post.
Well, they clearly don't. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah,
they try. They do a half-hearted
and
attempt
I have
to pull them down.
the paraphernalia on the post still with the vote whatever, whether they have whatever.
Because they don't enforce that. But people, you'll never see anyone wearing, say, a party T-shirt or.
I guess because
it's
law, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's just as much law as take down the signs off the lampposts, and so they don't. So, are you saying that we are not mature enough where
no, y'all gonna be used?
Me and Sharon are standing in the line to vote, and I'm wearing a Labour T-shirt, and Sharon is wearing a PLP T-shirt.
No, there's gonna be
and
some
me
kind
and
of
Sharon
animosity.
maybe don't know each other, and she's gonna turn around and start abusing me because
of who your leader of your party is and what he did and whatever.
Really,
whatever.
you don't
and they
think
might say, "Oh, you had a conscience. How you could come over here and vote for the man there?"
You don't think we're
no.
And
if they want to
also
get me, they can get me.
One of the things I would like to say, we have so much, let's say, political maturing to do.
Yeah,
I would love to see properly run like exit polls and so, just like you would in the States. I mean, I know people say, "Oh, it's a small society," and people probably won't give you accurate answers because they feel like. But I would love to see that kind of stuff, like because you know you can usually get a good you realize CNN and they you
NBC?
actually you get a good idea by 10 o'clock, say who's gonna win based on the exit polls.
Yeah.
You know, I wish we could have those debates, properly run exit polls. You know, political maturation, just
Yeah,
general
we should
relief.
have debates. I'm surprised we have not had debate yet. The only one time though I would say the Petition Public surprised me was when the Labour and the PAM marched together to like basically get rid of the orange guy. And I was like, wow. So they can work together, and then afterwards back to the same old thing. So you
I
see,
know.
you
I know.
realize?
We have a call. Caller, go right ahead.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Wonderful, good morning, wonderful NHT. Non-hiding team.
Non-hiding NHT's non-hiding team.
Yes, you are hiding nothing.
Okay, caller. Why you say that? Why you say that?
Because this program here is a well-educated, informative, enlightening program.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoy it. Thank
That's why I
you.
give it NHT.
Not.
Non-hiding team. Nothing.
Oh,
No
boy.
one-sided nothing.
But do you believe that we can dress in our colors and go to vote, though, sir?
Beg pardon, come again?
Do you believe we can dress in our party colors, like our orange or red or blue or yellow, and go and vote?
Well, you know, Lord Cut has a calypso say only in St. Christopher.
I think so. I'm not quite sure, so I can't say yes. I think
Well,
I may have heard it.
Yeah, in this political era, it can happen, but it's not supposed to happen.
But don't you think there'll be arguments at the poll, though, sir?
But argument will escalate to bacchanal, to uppercut and high fall and fly me and all those things.
Oh, boy.
But only in St. Christopher. Now, I have a question. You are working in WINNFM. Jamster is working in WINNFM. And Azard in WINNFM.
Yes.
Now, suppose the three all you. Every morning, you all appear to work. And if you don't have a punch card, well, you know, you show up your presence, means that you're coming your job to work.
Yes.
And WINNFM get jobs from outside businesses to advertise their business. But instead of doing what you are supposed to do by advertising their business, you all gone somewhere else advertising something else that is not WINNFM's job. But every payday, all of you go to the paymaster and collecting your pay, and you're not working. What do you think should happen to that, to you all?
You should be fired.
I think so, yes, exactly.
Okay.
Because here in St. Kitts, you got the government. They are one side of the river. And you have opposition on the other side of the river. And the opposition is only 3 elected members in there. But one of them, the captain, the head, is not doing his job as an opposition leader, as an opposition member in parliament. So he's over on the side of the river with the administration, in bed with them, and the amount of wrong things that they are doing to this country, and what they have done. He never opposed nothing. Wrong. You don't oppose because you have the title as opposition, but when you see wrong, you oppose it.
Yeah.
And then if you could correct the situation, giving them some advice, do that. But that man, the opposition leader from Nevis, Mark Brantley, never once opened him out and opposed them with all the wrong things they are doing, they have done and are doing. So that's my view on it. And I want to know if the King of England, because the royal, the royal business, whatever the title leg behind that, and he disrespecting that, I want to know if the king cannot do something about that, move he from the head. But again, remember when South Africa was was taking advantage of the majority of people who can vote, and they never let them vote. That's black people. And instead of that, up a man in jail for his democratic rights to speak, which is Mandela, Nelson Mandela. So I don't expect them to do anything down here because of black people.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, that's all I had to say for the morning, because it's not right what they're doing. Eh? Thank you all.
Oh, sure. Have a great weekend,
Keep up the good
Culture.
work, you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because let me tell you something. A couple months when WINNFM was broken down over here, I couldn't get it. So I'm taking all what I miss from WINNFM.
Okay.
Okay then. All
Glad
the
to know you too.
Okay,
Have a
Culture.
great day.
And I should point out and reassure our listeners who are having trouble catching us in the area covered by Atlas Level, which is a pretty big area, like the Bastia Valley and so on. The passageway to the top of the hill there is virtually impassable at this time, and Skelec is working on getting getting machinery up there to clear it so that they can go up and deal with the electricity problem. And just to let people know how bad the problem is, as far as I know, ZIZ and Freedom are actually running on generator at the moment for the last 2 weeks. Because
some people in town are telling me they're having difficulty hearing us. So
yeah, because I still can't catch anything in my kitchen, and it goes in and out on the eastern side of the house. So
my mom said she had to take it all the way down in her bedroom because where she normally listens from the washroom, she couldn't hear a thing.
So folks, just bear with us. We're hoping that Skelec will have that sorted out soon.
As soon as possible.
Yes. And of course, what this means is, whenever our transmitter sites are down, we are still on the air. All you have to do is you can go to the WINNFM website. That's always streaming. That's always streaming audio. WINNmediaskn.com.
Yeah.
All right. And what we tend to do is we video stream a lot of the programs. So in that case, if it's a program that's video streamed, like for example this show,
Channel 40, right?
Yeah. And you can also, if you're just interested in hearing the audio, you can go to the website, or you can go to YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. Yeah. So.
Jams, I don't know if you realize, Izzy won't be able to make it at all today.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, he says he had to travel.
He had court today. He was saying that
for court. So
he had a lot of court. Yeah, he did tell me yesterday. Yeah. Okay, so. Try not to drown, AZ. I think he has to go to Davis. So, okay. I wanted to play a report on the UK election. Okay. So I was looking for something from YouTube. So we could chat in the meantime until I find. I was looking for something to read first. And
I have something here.
Oh, you have something you're going to read? Okay, go ahead.
So you can look for that. Okay. I'm waiting for it to... You know the usual thing. Mm-hmm. So it says the Labour Party wins UK election in a landslide. And it says the UK is... This is from... Let me make sure I quote the person. This is from CNBC. So, and these were live updates. It says the UK opposition Labour Party won a huge parliamentary majority in the country's general election, unseating the incumbent Conservative after 14 years. So early on Friday morning, Labour passed the threshold needed to govern alone as outgoing PM Rishi Sunak conceded defeat. Sunak later exited Downing Street and resigned as the Conservative Party leader. Wow, their leaders leave quickly. Keir Starmer, leader of the centre-left Labour, will become the country's next prime minister and declared victory in the early hours. He said, in quote, "We did it," addressing his Labour colleagues. "You campaigned for it, you fought for it, and now it has arrived. Change begins now," end quote. Labour will gain its second largest majority after former Prime Minister Tony Blair's 179-seat majority in 1997. The Conservative Party, meanwhile, slipped to its worst ever results. Millions of people across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland on Thursday voted for their local representatives in the 650-member House of Commons, the UK lowest house of parliament. The last few ballots are still being counted. Here are the seats that have been declared so far. So the Labour has 412 seats. The Conservative had 121. The Liberal Democratic 71. SNP 9 and Order 35. So Britain needs a bigger reset, newly minted Prime Minister Keir Starmer said during his inauguration speech at Downing Street on Friday, shortly after receiving a royal mandate to form a government. He said, and quote, "It is surely clear to everyone that our country needs a bigger reset, a rediscovery of who we are," vowing that his Labour Party will serve country first, party second, end quote.
Okay, and man, we were such a team because I have a, to compliment that, I have a 2-minute clip with him just, giving talk, just kind of summarizing what he's going to do for the country. So here comes newly minted Prime Minister, Labour Prime Minister Keir Starmer. His vows change as Labour sweeps to power. Here we go.
You voted for it, and now it has arrived. Change begins now.
Britain's Labour Party won by a landslide in the country's parliamentary elections early on Friday, booting out the Conservative-led government after 14 years in power. Incoming Prime Minister Keir Starmer spoke of new beginnings in his victory speech.
We said we would end the chaos, and we will. We said we would turn the page, and we have. Today we start the next chapter, begin the work of change, the mission of national renewal, and start to rebuild our country.
Labour voters cheered as the party was projected to capture nearly 2/3 of the 650 seats in Parliament. But Starmer comes to power facing a sluggish economy, creaking public services and falling living standards. All of that played a part in the Conservatives' demise, with voters punishing them for a cost of living crisis, as well as years of instability and infighting that saw 5 different prime ministers in office since the Brexit vote of 2016. The Conservatives were forecast to win just about 130 seats, the worst election performance in the party's history. Outgoing Prime Minister Rishi Sunak conceded Conservative defeat Friday morning, though he managed to keep his own seat in Parliament.
Today, power will change hands in a peaceful and orderly manner, with goodwill on all sides. That is something that should give us all confidence in our country's stability and future.
The Conservatives also took a hit from the rise of the right-wing populist Reform UK party. Reform leader and Brexit campaigner Nigel Farage finally won a seat in Parliament after 7 failed attempts over the years. His party captured 4 seats in total, and in parts of the country they won more votes than the Conservatives. The surge in support for a populist alternative echoed similar results in Europe recently. But unlike France, where the far-right National Rally Party made historic gains in last Sunday's first-round elections, overall, the British public has thrown their weight behind a centre-left party to bring about change.
Yeah, so...
But you see...
And that was from Reuters, by the way, just to
this,
give credit.
Can they really fix this cost of living thing? Are we realistic about this?
I know. I read. I think I read a column last week that was saying that while it was clear that the Labour Party was probably going to win, they were saying that the columnists were saying that they thought that people weren't necessarily expecting significant changes right off the bat, but they were just willing to give the Labour Party a chance to rebuild the country and the economy, you could say within the medium term, back to something that's preferable for most of the electorate.
Imagine
I don't think.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, I'm done, more or less.
But I'm just saying, imagine you inherit all of this mess to clean up, and then what if it doesn't work the way it's supposed to work?
Yeah, but
it's just rough. I really don't think any government can fix this cost of living situation. I just think nothing's cheap anymore.
But you're seeing some common threads throughout most of these first world countries. The rise of the right wing and them being a thorn in the side of the people on the left. In the case of the U.S., you have the extreme Republicans, the Trump people. In the case of France, you have Le Pen and her right-wing people. And you heard what they just said about England, the Reform Party. This guy ran 7 times and finally won a seat, and the Reform Party. Oh, by the way, and the Reform Party in Canada is a similar party. It's a extreme right-wing party that is anti-immigrant, just like the MAGA people, just like Le Pen's party in France. They're all against immigration and that kind of thing. And in fact, I would say that the reason why Britain left the EU in the first place is because of that xenophobia. That was a big part of it, and that is why after Brexit, why the economy took a hit, because a lot of workers came from Eastern Europe who there were a lot of workers who, the truck drivers and so on, like people would be driving produce from Poland and all these places. A lot of people went to England from a lot of those Eastern European countries that don't have, they're basically emerging economies, and there's a lot of resentment to those people. And all of that is what was driving, or is driving, the people on the right to not want immigration and not want to have workers coming in from these countries that are gonna accept less money. Same thing happening in
It happens all over.
Interesting, yeah.
Because even in the small islands, the people who are gonna come and do the work for less, nobody's gonna. Want that.
Yeah. I mean, in a sense, we kind of have the same problem here too. Caller, go right ahead.
Yes, morning.
Good morning, Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, one of the first things that struck me was his name, Keir Starmer. I was wondering if he had German roots or something.
Probably, but a lot of there's a lot of I remember reading somewhere that the Angles are a Germanic tribe. The Angles who populated early England. They're actually most of those, the Anglo-Saxons. Saxony is in Germany, isn't it?
Right.
So the whole Anglo-Saxon, that whole
that connection.
Yeah,
that's true. It's just that you're normally accustomed to the usual Tom, Blair, David Cameron.
Yeah, the straight up Anglo names. Yeah, Keir Starmer.
No, it says it originated from Ireland. It derives its meaning from the Irish word "dub," which translates to black.
Really?
Oh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Starmer?
Keir.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah, for real.
Anyway, I heard his speech after he left the King's, after he kissed the King's ring, etc., etc. And one of the things that struck me was, he sounded all the right notes, as politicians usually do. He's going to be the prime minister for everybody.
They all say that, don't they?
Even though, yes, exactly. But one of the things he noted was that after all the photo ops and when the cameras leave, people generally end up being the same. They get they forget about the people who elected them, and he's specifically mentioning the nurses, the teachers, the ordinary folk kind of people.
Yep. Right,
and which suggests that he at least recognizes the fact that people are kind of disillusioned with the politics, right? He said that we have to find a way to make politics work for the people. It's not happening now. And I thought that was instructive. And one of the things that a commentator noted was that he really didn't say what he was going to do, in the election campaign. He just let the groundswell of anti-conservative feeling, just let it take its course.
But isn't that, for me, that's like a stripe of under-promising and over-performing. I like that approach.
Yep.
What are you gonna say? You haven't even seen the books yet, you know.
Yeah,
that makes plenty sense.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think he realizes that he has to do something, right? I think he made that statement too, that accustomed to the speeches and so on, but you have to do something, right? The flurry speech is not gonna cut it, right? You have to deliver. I think, and since he realizes that as the bottom line, I think, assuming that he governs in that mode, another thing that he said, for instance, that government should be about service, right? Not so much the tendency to look after yourself kind of thing. It should be about service for the people. You want to restore that idea that politics is about that mainly. So he's sounding the right notes. He has the mandate, so it's going to be interesting to see if he actually delivers, because that is when the rubber hits the road.
Let me ask you a question, and I really would love if someone who knows the answer can call us and tell us. I remember asking someone a few years ago, and I don't remember what the reason was that they gave me, but I noticed for such a major economy, I mean, isn't it kind of strange that you had yesterday Richie was the prime minister, and last night Keir Starmer became the prime minister. I mean, how is it?
The transition.
Yeah, how is it they don't do that?
Actually,
Brazil does it. The USA does it. I'm surprised.
Britain doesn't do it.
Yeah.
But Britain still works. I mean, one commentator called it brutal, called the transition brutal. 1 minute you're in, the next minute you and your family have to be moving out, in bands and so on, right? But apparently it works. And I think one of the reasons why it works is because of the civil service. Right?
Okay.
If once you have a professional civil service, that makes, I think, the transition that much easier.
But
right?
why do you? Okay, maybe the question I should have asked is, why do the Americans have the transition period?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why the transition period is so long? Not that you must have a transition period.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, that's even better.
Why
yeah,
it should be so long? That's an interesting question. They just accepted it.
I think Brazil is a month or something.
But it would be nice to know the reasoning behind it. Can't be that, okay, we're going to wait until next year and start afresh after November kind of thing. There must have been, I think, good reasons for it. But they themselves recognize that period between November and
so I imagine,
it's a lame duck period.
Could you? I just thought of something funny. Could you imagine maybe Keir Starmer is in office and Rishi is still moving his stuff out in a van, and that's kind of funny.
That's literally what happened.
Yeah, that's.
Listen, they're saying that all these people, I think there's some other key people whose families are there in the same area, and they have to be moving out their stuff, the same morning.
Also, I wonder if he started moving preemptively, like Sunak. What do you think?
Bearing in mind the polls, because the polls were so dead on this time that it was going to be a wipeout. That he probably did the 4 o'clock in the morning thing, and moved out his stuff.
It's interesting.
But it's I think.
But although
the thing is, Britain is in a quandary right now in terms, economically speaking. I mean, they're going through a rough patch, And Sunak, basically, all he could have done was, in the period that he had, was kind of at least stabilize stuff. Didn't get Britain out of the bad patch, but he kind of stabilized stuff. And he put down that as one of his legacy items, the fact that he was able to at least stabilize stuff. And but now I think is where they're going to have to try and get back the kind of economy that Britain is accustomed for, or known for, to be one of the leaders, as opposed to being the sick man of Europe, so to speak. So we'll see what happens.
It's going to be interesting. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Guy who was earmarked to be the foreign secretary.
Yeah, Lammy or something.
You know if he won? He
Oh
won?
yeah, I'm gonna have to go and check on that because CNN they interviewed him.
Right,
Was it CNN? No, someone.
No,
else.
it was on Hard Talk. I think it was. It might have been.
No, it was an American. I was surprised.
A BBC interview. I think.
Yeah, and I said, oh, so it was a black guy.
He
A
used to
black guy. Okay. Yeah.
He used to lambaste Trump himself.
Yeah.
So one of the questions they asked him was, if you become foreign secretary, these things, basically, he played the clip of him lambasting Trump. You may have to be working with him.
Trump is not winning, so.
you still feel that
No,
way?
Trump is not winning.
No.
Okay.
Everybody's on the television, Mr. McMahon, saying, do not pick Trump. Trump is the worst of the two. If
He's
you
not
have
winning.
any dignity, think about who you vote for before you vote. I heard it this morning on Morning
who said
Joe.
that?
The guy on Morning Joe. I swear he was campaigning for Biden this morning.
Also, there is this professor. I don't know, Ira, if you. There's this professor who has predicted the last 7 election cycles based on a unique system he uses, a selection of keys, and he says, if incumbent or if an incumbent loses 2, I think it's 2 of those keys. I don't remember how many keys there are, 12 something. Then and apparently he's been right all the time, and he's still saying after the debate last week, he's still saying that Biden is going to win.
He's going to win?
Yeah.
Okay, it can go, it probably can go either way. The problem I have, you see, is that whereas you expect your presidential candidate to be pretty much predictable and so on, in Biden's current state and age and so on, you never know. Any one incident can cause, and that's it. Okay. That's the problem. Between now and the election, any one thing, unfortunate incident, and the whole thing just fall to pieces. And then what do they do? Right? The question is, doesn't it make sense to try and put things in place for that, right? As opposed to waiting until some last minute thing, and then he crashes, and then what do? You see, by default, Trump would become president.
We don't want that. We don't want that. None of us want that.
Nobody, well, I shouldn't say nobody, because a large swath of the U.S. wants
that, yeah.
Okay.
But worldwide, I think most people are reticent about it.
I'm going to send you the article too, but I found, it would have been nice if I found video, but I found the article, so I'll read it. But I'll send it to you as well. Biden should be Democratic nominee, esteemed election forecaster. President Joe Biden is and this is from 2 days ago. President Joe Biden is a Democrat's best choice and will win re-election come November. Prominent presidential election forecaster Alan Lightman said on it was News Nation. I watched it on. Lightman, a highly regarded history professor at American University, who boasts a 90% accuracy record in predicting presidential election outcomes, said the incumbent candidate checks off more of his keys than anyone else. Developed in 1981 with mathematician Vladimir Kellis-Brook, Lightman's formula of 13 keys, 13. I said 12, but to the White House has helped him make overwhelmingly accurate predictions ever since. Despite Democratic calls for Biden to step down and back and forth polling showing him on the outs, Lightman stands firm in his assessment. Polls are snapshots, not predictors, he says. They are abused as predictors. You have the same pundits now based on one debate rather than 3.5. Exactly, that's what I've been saying. Right? Rather than 3.5 years of presidency, writing off Joe Biden. And his keys are as follows. Party mandate, party contest, incumbency, third party, short-term economy, long-term economy, policy change, social unrest, scandal, foreign policy, incumbent charisma, and challenger charisma. So I would say off the top.
If those are the keys, Biden fails a lot of those things, you know.
No, but I think he said, the earlier article I had read before I saw him on News Nation was, he said you'd have to lose two or three or four of the keys. I don't remember what the number was.
Okay.
To make it that you're going to lose.
That says, to me, it's just like predicting a hurricane, right? Nobody predicted Beryl.
Yeah.
Okay. It came in as on the radar, so to speak. And I think the elections are the same thing, right? I mean, things can just change overnight, you know?
Yeah.
So
I
think we have to wait and see. But I'm nervous with Biden as going up against Trump, to be quite honest. You know, I'm not sure that.
Do you think that he would do another debate later on down?
Yeah, they're going to, apparently.
Okay, good.
I think another one is definitely, at least one more is definitely confirmed.
And I'm sure
if he do, and really and truly, you know, if he comes back in that debate, it at least tells you that, well, he really just had a bad night.
Exactly.
Right?
And because Biden is he's a pretty feisty dude. I mean, meaning having you seen him at like White House press conferences when that guy from Fox really gets under his skin, and sometimes these reporters ask some stupid questions, right? And
he might raise his voice.
And he's pretty sharp. He's very good with the comebacks. He's very good with the comebacks. I mean, remember, look at the State of the Union speech earlier up in the year. He did. I mean, it's a pretty feisty guy.
To me, the 4 years have the 4 years show. You know, he's not the Biden of 4 years ago.
True.
And he won't be going forward either. And that's my reason for saying that. Replace him now rather than wait.
God.
I mean, that's what I think. The only good thing about it, if he wins, and it's probably not a nice thing to say, Kamala have a better chance of slipping it through the back door and being president, right? If he is incapacitated in whatever way, you know, she automatically becomes president. Something like Rishi Sunak, because remember he wasn't elected. The last couple prime ministers in Britain weren't elected. You know.
Yeah, everybody after Boris. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You know, so and that really kind of messed up things in the sense that nobody really knew what kind of support he had out there, right? But if Kamala goes in and proves herself, so to speak, whether by default or otherwise, that probably would be a good thing. Because I still think that she has a lot of potential. It's just that she was not allowed to, as vice president, to exhibit it. You know?
Yeah. And then like the reassuring thing is the fact that the head-to-head polls show that she's at least even with dude. So
she's at least competitive with, exactly.
So,
that should count for something.
Yeah.
That's another.
And that's something to build on. That's something to build on, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
all she has to do is get out there, make her case, and
Yeah.
there you go.
That show her worth, show that
Yeah.
she can stand toe to toe.
Although
in situations.
there's that particular cohort, meaning the Trump supporters, who no matter what she says, if she can go and say, I'm going to cure cancer, I'm going to make give everybody $1 million, and that would make a difference.
Yeah,
You know?
of course, there is that. There is always that. It was that in Britain too. It was like the elephant in the room. And they mentioned it, even Starmer mentioned it in his speech. The fact that he was an East Indian, right? He actually complimented him on working so hard despite those kinds of headwinds.
Oh, he did?
You
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did in that same. Actually, he started out with it in the speech, right? In his first speech at the podium, when he was at the podium, and first speech as Prime Minister, he mentioned it. So that tells you something, and I suppose it will be the same dynamic in the States.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. McMahon.
Yeah. So, we're gonna talk about whatever Kay wants to talk about after we take this break. What do you say?
It's what we want to talk about. Because we're talking about all of this that we're talking about presently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's take this call. Then there's a caller coming in. Caller, go right ahead.
Hi, good morning, James. Good
Hey,
morning,
what's up?
Kortensia.
Hey, what's up?
Good morning.
Your folks are juggling Azard and Kortensia. Well, yes, you keep keep everything vibrant and fluid. So we welcome
thank you.
when you folks grace the studio.
Oh, you're talking about? Oh, yeah, of
jump in
course.
here.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, thank you.
It's like a desert when she's in here.
Oh my
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
The flavor today, the balance.
Oh,
And speaking of Kamala Harris, and we spoke about Michelle Obama, and in terms of Kamala Harris being the president by somewhat default, if Biden wins, that is more feasible than she were to go out there and campaign on her own in the American society, the male chauvinistic system.
Oh boy,
But
yeah.
Mr. McMahon, I want to pick it back on what Mr. McMahon said yesterday about a demographic or a data in terms of I'm sorry, recall Mr. McMahon spoke about the reality in the United States that the Caucasian race would be the minority in the United States.
Yeah, I think it's 2040, I think they said. Yeah. I think they're 63% of the population now, but they're expected to dip below 50.
And they are very knowledgeable about that fact, and they will do all in their fiber, to really bolster the numbers, protect their sanctity, protect their way of living, in terms of that. And that is why Trump would have been favored so much to do that. Because even in his campaign, he's saying, make America great again. What are the subliminal messages of making America great again? Because right now, we notice it's fluctuates between the United States economy and the Chinese economy. So America, we could say America has been great. They has not lost that greatness. So to make America great again is a lot of subliminal messages. I want to go to the UK, the election in the UK and the Labour Party winning by a landslide.
Sure.
And what that holds, because even though one would agree that the Brexit vote, persons would have agreed on Brexit, exiting from the European Union, it seemed like a rethought, an afterthought would have been like, no, we have made a mistake. Let us get back into the European Union as a whole. We've sensed that because, and then the rhetoric that was coming from the U.S. if Donald Trump were to win the election, is like, I am not going to bolster the NATO. You know, the chips will, the dominoes will fall one by one in Europe because I would not prop up the Ukraine. Thus, who would be next? Poland, and then the domino effect. So for the Labour Party in the UK to win by a landslide, they got a mandate. Two-thirds, I think they have two-thirds in the House of Parliament, in the House of Commons, and they were able to do a lot of things to really bolster that. And if you have to analyze their military, it is failing. They have tested what you call the Trident. The Trident is like a ballistic missile, equivalent to what China has and North Korea has and what Russia has in terms of the hypersonic missiles. And it has failed miserably. And that learned to the vulnerability in terms of the UK defense mechanism to stave off anything that would come their way. So it is a lot. It is a lot. It is a lot. Because we in the colonies, from a British colony, we must always have an interest in analyzing these things because, yeah, the British Empire, they say, the sun did not set on the British Empire. And now in the last days, I realize that the British has lost such an influence that, it is concern to them to really try to salvage some of it. And they're being a part of NATO, the French has made attempt to make a bold move to say, well, they will put boots on the ground in the Ukraine. And we know that the French and certain British militaries, they're there in small numbers to somewhat train the Ukrainian people.
And more. And more. Trust me, and more.
Huh?
I said, and more.
Yeah, because if we want to get a balance in terms of the news, which we don't get much from the Russian side of it, you will see that a lot of those foreign soldiers are getting killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to put that in, and but what Mr. McMahon said about the data and the U.S. space, the minority, would be the Caucasian people, and they have been in seat of dominance and authority for the longest, and losing that stronghold. Kamala Harris, she would not stand a chance were she to go and campaign.
Yeah.
On her own, she would probably become the president by default of Biden not able to be capable, mentally and otherwise, to really hold the office of the president. So she would be there for that purpose.
Yeah.
But you realize she's there, and she's like not there in a sense because overshadowing the president, so to speak, is not a thing that they will want to entertain. But she will.
But if people really understand how the office of the VP works, it's you're really only there as a spare, more or less. It's just that within the last maybe 20 years that there's this kind of informal move to give the vice president more stuff to do. But the way it's always been, from what I read back in the 70s and before that, it was you're clearly there just in case something happens. But it's only fairly recently, 20, 25 years is when they've started, the president started delegating certain things to the vice president. It wasn't like that before. So, and this is the thing. If she's given a chance to shine, especially with the light of possible presidency on her, I think she'll acquit herself because she's starting off at a good place poll-wise. She's even with the aspiring autocrat, right? So all she has to do is build on that.
Hypothetically speaking, should there, let's say Biden win the election, which most of us in the Caribbean would want Biden to win, and then for whatever reason, he have to step aside and Kamala Harris assume the presidency, and she last that 4-year period or what have you, and she contests the next election, she will have to work and do the work and then be given a new mandate. That sounds more feasible.
I mean, I still come back to what I told you guys last week. I feel like this too shall pass. Right now we're in our feelings, oh, blah blah blah, I'm sure a month from now we're not. By the time Olympics start, we're not going to be studying that. Trust me, I believe.
No.
Huh?
But a Kennedy is in the race in some states.
Yeah.
Not in all the states.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be as critical for, let's say, the Democrats to say, well, you know what I mean?
Worst things have happened.
The independent voters, they are critical. How can the Democrats reach out to say, well, okay, the Kennedy is a spoiler for the
But don't you think it's fair to say, based on the dynamics I've seen over the last 2 years, it's safe to say that the independents, from sussing out what I see and hear and read, the independents seem to be the adults in the room politically, in the political electorate in the US, right? You think that given what the alternative is, I don't think they're gonna abandon Biden as much as this all is hand wringing, and I don't, because like that thing I was you can't ignore that pollster. You're gonna ignore 3.5 years and center your decision on a 90-minute debate? That doesn't make sense. And I feel like...
Well, initially, that's what it looked like.
Yeah, well, that's how those...
With the independent, it also happened in a way with Bernie Sanders. I think it was with the Obama.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders, he was there. I don't think he's contesting this time around.
No.
But he was
there. Oh, is he?
Where is he? He's a senator for Delaware? Somewhere in
Vermont.
one of those small states?
Vermont. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, and independent has a pivotal role to play, and they could go that way or the other way, or they could stay in the middle. That's my thoughts for today. I just wanted to weigh in on the conversation. Thanks for listening.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break. It's 9:01.
Different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
TVC Financial Services. We're here for you to help you make your dreams come true. Whether your needs are big or small, we'll support you with them all. TVC Financial Services. We are strong. TVC Financial Services. This is where you belong.
TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
Woo!
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
It's new and only at ICWI, the insurance company of the West Indies. Receive free windscreen cover when you purchase your third-party policy with ICWI. You heard right, free windscreen cover with your third-party policy for only a limited time. If you're a third-party policy holder, take advantage of this limited time offer and switch to ICWI for added protection. Isn't it time you experience insurance the ICWI way? Conditions apply. Click, call, or visit ICWI today. Visit us at 1C Bird Rock Road. Call 465-8753 or ICWI.com.
TDC Insurance Company Limited. We care about your investment.
Company Limited, where you get more coverage for less.
4 minutes after 9 o'clock, back with my girl Kay. So I was looking at, okay, let's take this call. The callers come first.
Of course. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T.
Good morning to everybody.
Hey.
Good morning, Greg.
In Jesus' name.
Good man, brother.
Greetings to the Gregorian monk.
Well, no, monkism is contrary to the Bible, really. What I wanted to say though is that, as the Bible says, when the righteous is in power, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear it rule, the people mourn. And the wicked are those who go contrary to the Bible, who do things contrary to the Bible. You see, people gonna always be mourning and changing party and changing parties and leaders and rulers and that sort of stuff, because all who they are electing, they all are contrary to the Bible. Of course, some much more so than others. And it goes for Biden, goes for Trump, goes for conservatives in England, goes for the Labour people in England, it goes for the whole world. And the lady was speaking about the cost of living, that it can be done, that nothing can be done about it. A lot can be done about it, but we just have to do things the biblical way. The reason why we have the cost of living is a problem is because we are doing things contrary to the Bible. And it will never be solved once we continue to be doing things contrary to the Bible. And to go off, to think a little bit on Trump and Biden, like I said yesterday, it's the black people, the black votes, is who had put Trump in government. Not that any better than any, but it was the black votes who put Trump in government. And when I say none better than any, you're talking about Democrats and Republicans. And as to who gonna win, only God one knows that. As the Bible says, he puts up and he pulls down. Really and truly, only God one knows the future.
Why do you insist on harping on the? The black people that may have voted for Trump, that number has got to be small. Why are you wasting time harping on or heralding the fact that the black people? I don't get it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you why. Because people like you, Jamster, are giving the impression that it's just the white races is who put Trump in office.
Yeah, but then why do we have to waste precious breath talking about black people voted for Trump too?
Because you waste precious breath in trying to propagandize people in believing that it's the racists who put Trump in office.
I never once said that. You're the one who brought that up.
Contacted.
Yeah, but I never once said that.
Trevor, anybody listen to that's the impression people
I
get
don't
that,
think
that,
I
that
ever.
It was a backlash to Obama and is the white. Trump,
I'm not the one who said this.
Political
commentators and historians have said that the reason why Trump won was a backlash to Barack Obama being president, a black president. Everybody knows that.
Is like I said, the black people put him there.
Put who there?
I think.
Put who there?
Trump.
Yeah, but can't we talk about something else? Why is this so important for you to highlight? I don't understand.
Because you, Trevor, among others, is giving people the impression that the white racists will put Trump there as a backlash against Obama.
So,
which is not true.
Okay. So
it's because people hated Hillary Clinton and
even,
that sort of stuff.
Even if some black voters voted for Trump, they weren't. I don't think they were decisive numerically. So I don't understand. I don't understand what your point is.
They were decisive enough to put Trump there because Trump got a higher percentage of black votes than any Republican
Yeah,
candidates
but
since
why
I
is
think
this?
in the
Why
60s.
is this something that you wanna crow about? I don't get it.
Because you, Trevor, among others, give the people impression there's only
No,
white
but
racists who
but
voted
no,
for Trump.
no, but that's not something I talk about. As that might be something that
You-
came about as an
you
aside.
alluded to
You're
it.
making another point. That's not my key point. That was never my key point.
So are you happy that
You
black
always-
people voted
it's one of your key points,
for Mr. Trump? Are you happy that was the case? So you can say
What?
some black people put him in too?
I'm not happy as to any of the American presidents.
Can another caller please rescue us? Call so I can have an excuse to take Gregory off the phone because I don't want to be impolite.
Trevor, who you for, Trevor? Who you for? All I'm going to say, Trevor, all I'm going to say is that, and this democracy thing, Trevor, like one of the American presidents said, democracy is a suicidal thing. It is a form of theocracy. Democracy is a form of theocracy where the people are the gods. And in democracy, people vote for who promises them the most goodies. And that kills countries. That put countries in all kind of economic problems, social problems, political problems. Democracy is a very evil, terrible form of theocracy, of a theocracy.
What?
Yeah, democracy is a very evil form of a theocracy because it has its own gods, which are the people. The people, every political system is a form of a theocracy. The only correct theocracy is the biblical one. Mm-hmm. But every political form is a form of theocracy because every political system has its gods. And they ain't too hard to find. So what I'm saying, Trevor? What I'm saying, Trevor, is
Mayday, someone else please call.
Yeah, Trevor, what I'm saying that only doing things the Bible way, Trevor, can save us.
Okay.
Only doing
Greg,
things
that's
the
not
Bible
going to
way
happen
is
right
right.
now because nobody is. It's not going to happen.
Going to happen.
Now. Jesus has to come first.
No, it's going to happen before Jesus comes, as the Bible teaches. Yeah,
Okay.
It's going to happen because the Bible teaches that the gospel is going to win over the world, and we are at some point in the future going to be converted in the vast majority of the world and start to do things the Bible way. So it's going to happen, but these are just the beginnings.
Wow. Okay.
And I thank God for having me to play this part in accomplishing what His will is.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyhow, only Jesus is the answer. So anything else is destruction because everything else is outside of Jesus Christ. Only Jesus Christ is our answer and solution for everything in life. Thank you.
You're welcome,
Okay.
Greg. Thank you too.
Gregory, the Bible in one hand.
Because I know
and-
after the sudden peace, there will come a roaring destruction. So I don't.
and a Pandora's box of nonsense in the other.
Well, we thank Greg for his contribution.
Call go right ahead.
Good morning. You're live on Island T.
Good morning, Island T.
Mhm.
Good morning,
Morning.
Kortensia.
Morning, Jam Down.
Mm-hmm.
Azard in there, right?
No, he's not
No.
there today.
I'm Jamster. Yesterday, the young man really had deal. We have to bring him back.
He's supposed to come this morning.
Yeah, because he made some very interesting points yesterday. One, catch me, is the debate. We got to move away from this jam and wine business with politicians. Once you're up to run.
No, actually, I was the one who said that. Actually,
To this country.
I was the one who said that, not him. But anyway.
This thing to the next level. You understand? They just come and do what they want. In 1995, Kennedy Simmons was asking for it from Douglas, and he refused in the barrier. He waited until the time, Joe, for the debate about in 4 seasons, and he pulled away. And from that, nobody, the only man challenged it, I think it was in 2000 or 2005. What do I have to find? But we, the foolish waters, them who do stupid things, them looking politicians, millionaire, who show me in the working and serving us well. We have to ask for debate. We have to do that, youngster. Kortensia is a nasty situation going on in Sinkit.
and they realize they're getting away with a lot of things. When a governor might come and he talk about Bam Bam, it's them asking for Bam Bam, you know. It's them asking for Bam Bam with the nonsense. Kortensia, I wanted to pick me up, let me go down the garden home. I wanted the joke by Prime Minister join us to go down there and spend the money wisely down there and people who serve this country.
Okay.
I was feeling so bad, Kortensia, when I walk in the garden home and see what I see. People down there cardboard. All people. Not even outlet there, send there, but and I wanted them people down there to learn people things when they bring them to the loved one. Whoever take up the card down there can't knock it up. Because Jam don't get to know come wait when I have a ticket.
Oh boy.
Jam store. Please debate more for these things. The country need it. I was talking to some shut in after the Redford show. And they feel so delighted. They're saying that's the way we got to go. I want to meet the young man. Have a good day. We love you.
Okay.
Thank you, Jam Down.
All right.
Much love too.
So, yeah.
This card in home thing, before we continue, it really seems to struck a heavy chord when with Jam Down, and I understand what he says. And sometimes when I pass at the back and I see the clothing that's on the line, there's no pins, it's just thrown over. I don't know if it's the people that wash their own clothes and put it on the back. And then I'd be like, this is how people are living. And I've never been in the garden home, but it seems like it's something that I will have to do. Because I really want to see what he's talking about. And the fact that he says these people serve our country and some of them don't have people to take care of them now, so that's where they end up. So we have to pay a bit more attention to them, because all of us are not going to stay as youthful and as young as we are, and we really don't know where we're going to end up in life. So the fact that he speaks about this over and over and over, it's really
and the fan thing struck with me there when he mentioned that.
Because it's hot. Imagine we cry for the heat and we are good. We can take ourselves to the beach or to the pool or somewhere and cool down. These elderly folks can't move. So we have to be careful of what we're doing. We don't know how karma is going to strike us when we
have a caller. But just before to say, that kind of ties in with a theory I have that a lot of times governments they drag their feet spending money on parts of the government that don't generate money.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? Because obviously the cabin home is not generate. The cabin home is hey, yeah. Go ahead, Culture. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah.
Yes, man. When you were calling for the rescue, I was trying to get here, but here the man Jam Young, the fast bowler. Jam Young went in front of me.
He called, but he called a little late though.
Jam. So let me tell the caller who was saying about the majority of white people vote for who he was saying.
No, he was saying black people. A lot of black people voted for Trump. It's not.
Right.
It
he
was
that. I'm gonna tell him that if he could listen what Trump said about the Caribbean, where the greater population of black people. Trump described us as S-whole countries. S-whole countries. And who is the highest population in these countries what Trump talking about? Black people. And plus the mountain knockout black people been getting in America. I live there. I live as far up as Alaska. I walk up there. So who not go up there to live and walk? You can't talk about them things. You got to be in it to know it.
But have you seen recently where black people say they would vote for Trump, though? I was actually surprised. And even some big celebrities, because they're talking about tax cuts and stuff like that. Have you seen that?
No, not yet.
Okay.
The thing.
Black people very conscious of the knockbout that we get. All them kind of people that who knock about black people, like I said this morning in South Africa, for years. And lock up Nelson Mandela, because the man representing black people with his speech. Come on, black people be more sensible than before. Now, let me go to this poorhouse thing, this infirmary thing. Sorry to call it that.
No.
The other night we had power outage over here 3 times in the space of 12 hours. in the night, and I hear and I get a piece of cardboard and I fan in. And the cardboard get wet down with perspiration.
Wow.
I had to get up going to the bath. So you can imagine down there for me.
Yeah.
A certain time in the night, all your clock, they closing the doors.
Oh boy.
So the breeze could blow in there.
Yeah.
And those people who don't contribute to this country got to be fanning with cardboard.
That's
and
if
Dr.
they
Joe,
even have a piece of cardboard.
Right.
Yeah.
And Dr. Joe is a doctor and he's the Minister of Health.
Yeah.
And what you mean to tell me? Nobody going to report that to him? Well, if nobody report it, all of them, they're in government here jammed down. And that should have done address the situation like yesterday. God, this heat, even though you're in the shower bathing, from the moment you shut off the faucet, water upon your skin, but you're still sweating.
Exactly.
Anyway, you all have a good day. Thank you very much, man.
You too. Thank you for your contribution.
Okay,
as always.
great.
Remember the title, eh? NHT.
Yes.
Okay.
That's hiding a thing.
Okay,
You
great.
too.
Okay, we're gonna have a very short fireproof now, which is gonna start any minute now, and then we have our Amazon representative from 9:30 until 10. So we're gonna have a short fireproof. He hasn't come in yet. I don't know if he's taking a phone call. But yeah, a very short fireproof this morning. The officer is gonna be joining us any minute. So I guess we can chat until he's ready to come in. I told him to come around. I noticed I haven't seen him yet. I don't know, maybe he's taking a phone call. So yeah, I was looking at the shadow cabinet, and I was looking at the diversity of the shadow cabinet. There are two East Indians, it looks like, and the guy who's been shadow Foreign Secretary, David Lammy. He's apparently the first Black Briton to attend Harvard University. That was the guy that we were talking about earlier. Who
That's a picture that I show you, right?
Yeah. David Lammy. So we're gonna have to wait until Mr. Starmer announces his cabinet. These are just people who are the shadow ministers for the last few years. So we have the officer for fireproof. We have a very short fireproof. A speed date fireproof.
Speed date fireproof indeed. Good morning, officer.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thanks.
All right. So what are we going to tackle today?
Well, from the saying is that the pharmaceutical services end, we have been having a quiet season so far because of a lot of rain and so on.
Praise the Lord. Listen, you said quiet, but I didn't find it was quiet. I had the opportunity to go over to the Southeast Peninsula with my husband someday there, and I realized the mountains, burnt,
What?
jam stuff burnt, and then I was
Southeast Peninsula had fires over there?
Yeah. I said, I don't think it was Monday. Someday I went over there, and oh my gosh, I was shocked. I was shocked.
Really?
So did you folks out that, or did that just burn down out itself? Because I still saw like tiny fires still occurring, but it did rain. So thank God for that. But apparently down the hill was on fire too. So are these fires occurring naturally? Or can we assume that somebody just threw a little thing of what they're smoking out there and the fires ensued?
Anyone, because, yes, you say someone come and smoke and they just throw the butt outside. We have the fuel, we have the oxygen, we have the heat. We can start. I come in natural as well. Because of the overcast cloud. No, maybe not. So we're just hoping for the best. Yes, trucks did win. The one from Barca was over there, and Tamanako was calling. And then here come the
rain. Praise the Lord. Listen, over there looks brown now. If I was living over there, I'd be a little scared.
I hope the animals are safe, the deers and construction sites and everything.
Thank God those boys hide in the day.
Yeah. So that's where we are always on call, no matter what, to ensure that we extinguish these fires so they won't destroy person, scrap our lifestyle. Okay. Well, now, let's talk about hurricane season. We have a major role to play as a fire and rescue services. Let me just say, reach out to the persons, government and people of Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have them in our prayers. and our brothers and sisters in fire department, the police, defense force, whatever. We have you in our prayers, and we continue to pray that you get all the safety measures in place and a number of things that you're asking for. As in NEMA, our sister agency, sent out a list, a dependency list. They have a national hurricane, what is it, Beryl Relief Supplies Drive.
I like the fact that you changed it to a guy. But
No,
it's a female, but I said I like the fact that you changed it to a guy.
Yes. So they're asking for Grenada, they're asking for, perishable food, non-perishable food, cots and pillows and batteries and baby pampers and wipes, adults pampers and so on. Same thing apply for St. Vincent, toiletries, hygiene, mattresses and these other things. So they're asking for persons to drop them off at NEMA warehouse at Limekiln Development between the hours of 9 to 3. For St. Vincent, we put on SVG, and for Grenada, GND. There's no monetary contributions, and they're asking no one to send any damaged or expired goods. So asking persons to come on out as we continue to look out for our brothers and sisters. It's not over yet, because the hurricane season between June to the 30th of November. And the probability is 85% above normal. Normal is 10%, and below is 5%.
Okay.
Major hurricanes, we're looking at 4 to 7. We already had one. So hopefully I don't think we need any more at all.
We don't want any more. Nobody should get any more.
No. So we are ready in an event that any of these hurricanes pass by our way. We have our officers, we have them on standby. We are in the process of getting our generators, making sure we have all our tools and equipments are readily available and in serviceable manner and condition, just in case of anything. Okay? So that just let people at Federation know that, yes, we are the fire department. We are partnering with NEMA and the other agencies. We have all that we need. Hopefully, we have all that we need, but we have the manpower, a majority of the manpower on board that can assist in an event of anything.
Okay. All righty.
Okay. So basically, we continue to ask the general public, even though we are in the wet season, remember the winds are very high, and that can also contribute to the spread of fire. So don't regard the places wet. They can burn depending on the amount of heat, and they can cause destruction as well. Okay? So basically, we just asking persons to just continue to adhere. Next week, we'll be having our summer safety program starting off in Nevis.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and the following week, we have hours in St. Kitts at the Dr. William Connor Primary School. So I ask parents to continue to sign up at our local fire departments, and they can also come to the venues as well and sign up with our with a fee of $20. So we educate the youths going forward.
Yeah.
So basically, that is it. Hopefully, as we continue to come here every week to update the general public on what is taking place in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to wish all the fire officers, home and abroad, a very good Friday afternoon, and hope that we have a safe and productive weekend.
Yeah.
Basically, that is it from the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire Rescue Services.
Well, Officer Clark, we thank you as always for coming and informing us, and as Jamsa always do, we wish you a fire-free weekend and an upcoming week, and keep doing the great job that you're doing. And as you said, to support the folks in St. Vincent and Grenada, you donate non-perishable goods, Pampers, toiletries, etc. Please, no expired goods. As he mentioned, if you're going to donate to St. Vincent, you put on I think it's the SVG, that's the I think that's airline code, and then GND for Grenada. So thank you. NEMA is anticipating you. St. Vincent and Grenada thanks you in advance.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you too.
Okay, all the best.
Same to you. And up next, as we said, we have Amazon as we continue our Friday morning program right here on Island T. So we're asking all to stay tuned, stay locked. As I was going through my social media, I just have to, let me pull it up right here. Every time you have something, it disappears on you. So just to give you a little update, we know the young man that dived off while having fun in Nevis, Mr. Wood. I see an update here. And it basically says, hello, everyone. I'm pleased to report that Mr. Kevin Wood has been discharged from the hospital and is now receiving nursing care, doctor visits, and therapy at home from a private medical institution. You also have scheduled clinic appointments at the Georgetown Hospital. Kevin is fully equipped with all the medical equipment that his doctors instructed us to buy. Generally, Kevin is much happier at being home, surrounded by his family and a professional medical team who is giving him the best care and attention that he requires. At present, he's slowly regaining control of his arms. I notice he's feeding himself, so I'm happy for that. So kudos, Kevin. Keep doing well. He's now trying to feed himself and scratch his face. He's not able to sit up as yet. The doctors are saying that he won't be able to do so until his neck is healed. So Kevin's recovery is now in the second stage. That is a very important phase. So let us all continue to pray for a full recovery in the name of Jesus. And his family continues to thank those who continue to support his GoFundMe account.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take a quick break. We have our local Amazon rep here, Ron Carr. He's coming up next, and Enoite is going to be joining us. He apologizes for being so jammed down. Enoite is here, so your weekend is going to start off on the right foot. Let's get a quick word from Rams and come back.
Found the Sound 98.9 FM.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put your Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. Here a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah. Right now a Magnum a for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
It's 9:32, and we are here with our local Amazon returns representative. It's Rondon Carr, and you guys would recall we had him a few weeks. What is it?
Let's say weeks, so it doesn't seem that long. But
well, it's been exactly a month.
Oh, okay.
Really? Only that?
Yeah, it seemed a little longer, right? Yeah.
No, the reason I could tell is we opened roughly the same time, and it's literally been a month.
Okay, well, congratulations on your month. So how has it been thus far?
Well, it's been pretty. We've been doing a lot of return service, so it's been going pretty well.
Okay.
We did from now today. We would have returned about almost 1,500 pounds of products to Amazon.
Wow. Yeah. Ooh. That's a lot.
So the word of mouth is working, and so you're seeing, I guess the traffic is continually increasing and all that.
Yeah, it's continually steadily increasing and growing, and we've seen. But I think it was more in the beginning because it was so new. Persons were kind of anxious to get certain things done, and they were trying to return particular things because when the inception of the business, we were expecting that we would have like small items, phones, laptops, those sorts of things. In our first week, definitely was not the case.
Oh, boy.
We got things from a tire rim to a grand piano.
What?
Yeah.
So what's the exchange rate between the pound and the dollar? Because you see, it's return £1,000.
Huh?
Like, you know, British pounds, like what's the exchange rate? You say you return £1,000 worth of stuff.
I think the weight of the items, not money.
Not money.
Not
the
monies.
weight, the actual physical weight of it.
It's being funny.
No. He's trying to inject some comic relief.
I know. No.
I think he needs to return his sense of humor.
Oh boy.
Sick bird.
But yeah, it's been eye-opening in terms of regards to what persons have wanted to return, and we've realized it's not necessarily those smaller, cheaper items, but you know, things that have put some significant cost to. I know there's persons in music. You have persons who they bought a mixer, and you know, these things are significantly expensive. I think this guy spent one of them was about $3,000 US.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was damaged. So you know, having to absorb that cost because you can't return it. Because of Amazon policies is a little bit difficult. So it is, we do appreciate that we're able to help persons resolve this matter and ease that kind of a burden. I would say that we have, one of the reasons I wanted to come on here now is because we've had persons coming in, and because of how we launched, because persons spoke about us before we had a chance to tell persons what we actually do.
Okay.
Persons have a misconception as to how return service works, what they're able to return. So it's just to give persons right now an update in regards to the policies and the guidelines. First things first, persons assume that the returns are free. Now, even for Amazon, the return in the U.S. is not necessarily free.
Oh, okay.
What Amazon stated is that they give you free return ground shipping. So if it can be returned by ground shipping, they'll take it back. But if it is outside of the U.S., it's your responsibility to then get it back to the U.S. and then perform the return, which is a service we do.
Okay.
Now, we have spoken to them, and we had a discussion when we first opened to try and see how we can ease it. What they have provided to us is that now they're allowing us to do a credit, or a person can get reimbursed for whatever they spent up to 20 US. So say, for example, your item is maybe £4 to £5, then you would get a 100% reimbursement because the cost to send it back is like, you know, between 30 to $40. So obviously, when you convert that into US, you get your full reimbursement for that. So you know, technically you can say anything under that weight is a free return. But by their policy, you then have to pay for the return, submit the receipt, and then they'll reimburse you for that plus the refund on the item. The other thing I recommend persons do now is a return, not a replacement. Because another issue that we've seen is persons have bought an item, it's either the wrong item, or wrong size, wrong color, but then even when you go and you do a replacement, you get back the exact same mistake. And what I try to explain to persons is Amazon is just very much an automated system. So there's no one reading your return and going, oh, the wrong color was sent, let me correct it. They'll literally more than likely send the exact same thing. There was a gentleman who bought a suit. He bought a suit 3 times, and he replaced it. He was in the US, so we didn't handle the returns. So he kept getting a replacement, and he kept getting the wrong size suit. Even though he was selecting the number that he needed, he kept getting the wrong one. So we do recommend for persons who are doing that they just do a return. We also want to let people know that when you do that, you also get a customs waiver because you would have already paid the charges for the item you're returning. So when you come into the store, we provide you with that waiver so that when the new item comes in, you don't have to pay. The other thing is in regards to the types of returns we accept, which is we can do what we call UPS store return, Amazon in-store return, and what we call the international return. We only used to be able to do the international return, which is the one you get the full reimbursement on, but now we can do the other two. In regards to that, we do ask persons now, we recommend if you're not too sure, come into the store and we'll go ahead and help you out through the process. Because we've had some persons that have come in and they tried to do it themselves. And for some, I don't know how they got there, but they ended up selecting something like Whole Foods return. Because Whole Foods is part of Amazon, so there's an option for you to drop off a package to Whole Foods. And they selected it, and I'm like, I don't know what I can, we can see what we can do. We have been able to return them. We try to accommodate every customer that we get, but it was just the case that they were selecting the wrong thing. So if, you're not too sure, you're not too certain what to do, we do recommend you come in. We're here to gladly help you sort out and get that return done. The other matter discussing is that persons have come in and asked if we can do direct shipping. Now, it is not necessarily a case that we do. We usually only do that for B2B. Just to remind everybody what that is business to business. Because we do have a service that provides persons that if you're a small business, you then are able to access Amazon wholesale section where you can purchase things in large volume. You also get some significant discounts in the shipping as well as the item for bringing in. So we were mainly focused on businesses. Because of the volume we say of personal consumers who are coming in and asking for some assistance, we've made a decision that we would provide service to the ones that we think that mostly need it. In this case, it would be like senior citizens. So anyone who comes in as a senior citizen, we would help and do the direct sale for you. Just because we see, again, not everybody's technically savvy, so we'll try and accommodate those type of persons.
So for those folks who may be listening and don't know, I know word of mouth gets around fast in St. Kitts, but for those who may be listening for the first time, I'd be like, we have that in St. Kitts? Could you remind them where they can find you and your contact information?
Sure. We are located on Port Zante, above First Class or opposite No Rush Bar. Our contact number is 767-9684, or they can go to ireturns.com, and you'll get our contact details there, as well as the process of how to do a return.
Okay.
I'm thinking you just gave an example of a grand piano return. I think that might be instructive and helpful for a lot of people who want to return bigger items. You could tell me a little how much that cost on this end for the returnee?
Well, in that case, that was a special case. One, because the person was not here. They were petitioned, but they were actually on another island.
Okay.
And in that case, we, for logistics, we coordinated getting it back up there using boat instead of airmail.
Okay.
So it was one of those where we were like, all right, we'll get it up there, and then we'll go ahead and take care of the return when it gets there.
Okay.
For that one, I'm not really too sure because, again, we were not the ones who actually shipped it back up. We just coordinated the logistics of getting there and the return. Our limit in terms of how much we by weight is 65 pounds is what we can return. We're working on a process for large item returns, but we still have to fine-tune that because we have realized that majority of what we get are large items returns, because we'll see persons that bring things that are like 80 pounds, 90 pounds. Even I think there was something that was 336 pounds.
Wow.
So we're trying to see how we can make that more affordable, as well as coordinate, because even for those large item returns, because we can't send them by air, it takes a significant amount of time for them to get back up to the U.S. So we're trying to see how we can coordinate to facilitate that they're able to return those things on time. Speaking on returns, the other matter we want to discuss is for persons who purchased items that are Apple or Samsung related, they have a particular type of return. The only category that would work for us is international returns. So those you'd have to come in for us to go ahead and process the return for you. It is specific for those items because of the batteries that's inside of them. So for those, there's a special return for those. So we do ask customers when it comes to those mobile devices, you would need to come in. It also extends to some Samsung tablets as well. So again, if you're not sure, come in. We're going to go ahead and do that return for you.
Okay, it's 9:43. If you're just joining us, it's Rondon Carr. He's running this amazing Amazon return service. In case you just happen to tune in, give them the number and the location again, Rondon.
We are located in Port Zante, above First Class, opposite No Rush Bar. The number is 767-9684. If you look for us online, you can find us on Facebook, A2I Returns, as well as www.a2ireturns.com.
Okay. I want to ask about something that happened to me a few times. I still buy CDs, right? I mean, I get tons of free music, but I still, like people, I still buy the CDs. Now, I've had situations where I've bought CDs. In fact, this happened maybe 3 months ago. I bought the Bob James collection, right? And the Bob James CD that they had, it was a 2-disc one, but the song selection was different. The one I got came from Germany, and it's called the same thing, but the song selection was different. The first disc was basically the same, but the second disc didn't have on as much of the. So I decided, I don't have any Bob James, so it's just cool. But it's like, it would have been nice if the second disc was really what the second disc was, probably for the U.S. market or whatever. So let's say if I wanted to return that, how would that work?
Well, that would qualify for a return, because the item description, even though the track songs are different, the item description does not match the product, so you would be able to return it. So there's a lot of criteria that, again, Amazon is very accommodating when it comes to that. Okay. So even if it's a scratch on the item, even if, for example, it's just you could still use it, but there's a piece missing, that would still qualify for a return.
I've also had situations years ago which I just kind of ate it, because at the time we didn't have, where I bought CDs and they didn't play. I bought I have a Steely Dan CD home. I actually rebought it. Rebought it a few months ago. I bought it like 2 years ago, and I was just like, boy, this. But they have the auto rip, so I just kind of lived with the auto rip, and then I said, you know what, I want the CD, so I rebought it. But I have the CD home that just doesn't play. It plays in none of my players, and I was like, boy. And I also had a similar situation with a Madonna collection I bought with two discs, where one song, for some reason, Cherish will not play. And I just ate that as well. So it's nice to know now I have a situation where. So with something like that, would I have to pay?
Well, in terms of initial pay for something like that, it would work out to, I would say, about 12, 13 easy to return it. Okay. But then again, you would also get that reimbursed to you. Okay. So then it would be a zero cost.
Okay. Yeah. And what's the windowing in terms of let's say if I buy something and just like a month, 2 weeks?
The window ranges from 30 days to over a year. It depends on it literally depends on what product you buy and what their return specs are. So for example, items bought from Amazon, they have a return that's a year and above. So if you have an issue with Amazon Kindle or anything like that, there's a longer range for you to return those, as opposed to some items which have 30 days. Okay. Now, in regards to that because that's a good topic you brought up, when you see that eligible for return, that time countdown you see on your item is for you to initiate the return, not for the return to happen, as in get back there. So when you look at that is just to say, hey, you have within this period to say, I don't want this, and initiate the return. Once you initiate the return, then you have a second deadline as to when the item needs to get back up there. And even usually it's 30 days, but even within that, we can still call and say, hey, for example, we had a hurricane pass. So we can reach out and say, hey, a hurricane, so we're going to have a delay. And Amazon will say, okay, all right, we'll move back your date. We also, for persons who may have had their window closed, again, you can call into Amazon and talk to a customer. I do recommend you call in, and I do recommend persons come down to our office because we have direct lines to Amazon. You can use those for free to reach out to them, so there's no expense to you to get some support and help. Because if you talk to them, they will try and see how they can accommodate you and give you a little bit more time, even though the deadline has passed. So they're very understanding in that respect in terms of getting the item back, because they're very much on that customer satisfaction. Okay,
well, that's good. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it's not lost on anyone what a great thing is, because I just told you those situations where I buy something like, boy, we're gonna have to eat this one because the idea of just sending back something cost-wise just wasn't, wouldn't have made any sense at the time. So
so you returning. I don't understand how you ate it. Like how did it taste?
I'm gonna come over there.
Like I said.
Oh boy.
Sounds like he really needs that return.
I know. I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
Another thing I'd like to remind persons is that we also do B2B services, which allows small businesses here locally to be able to access Amazon's wholesale and business side, which allows them to then purchase in bulk at discounted rates and as well as get a reduced shipping estimate. Because when you order from Amazon, the main site, and you're doing personally, if you order 2 things, they'll charge you the exact same shipping twice for the same thing, as opposed to when you do it the wholesale, it'll be consolidated. We also give you the option that you can purchase the items, you can either ship them to you or they can come to us directly and you pick up from us and we'll go ahead and do the estimates and everything for you. So you will be able to know ahead of time how much your customs and duty charges, pay one thing and then collect all. We also offer for persons to then locally now be able to sell on Amazon. So say, for example, my favorite example is a hot sauce business, and you want to sell your hot sauce online. We help you facilitate that. You get your own store on Amazon, as well as when you're ready to ship out your orders, we take care of that side of it, that we ship them out and handle all of that.
Okay. That's good.
Another point of the B2Bs, also we deal with what you call loss or fraud prevention. We've realized, and this is something the post office has brought up to us, is that persons who are purchasing from Amazon and they're doing the U.S. mailbox, their item, it shows that their item showed up, but then the U.S. mail said, I didn't receive it. Now, the problem with that is Amazon will say, that item showed up. We have already done our part. It's there, so it has nothing, we can't do anything. The only resolution to that is to file a police report. Once you give it to Amazon, they'll automatically refund you. But we're Caribbean, we're Caribbean residents. We're not in the U.S., so there's not a possibility for that. So then, for the B2B customers, because we are, we have a presence both here and in the U.S., we can act on their behalf and say, hey, this occurred, and try and get that resolved so that they get their money back rather than having to eat the cost because no one wants to take responsibility for what happened to the package.
I've had the inverse happen though, where I noticed I've bought CDs again. I know people are rolling their eyes, but anyway, I can show you afterwards where I've ordered CDs. I get the CDs and then the thing is still showing your item has been delayed. I have like 2 of them for like over a year now. I'm like, what's going on here?
That is actually...
I already received it. What's going on?
That is actually a problem that we've been... Well, I should say the issue that's causing that is a problem we've been having here when it comes to our returns, is that when it comes to that last lap of delivering an item or returning an item, third-party delivery or courier services are used. That's called the last mile. So in our case, we're a last mile for a return. In that person, there's a last mile for delivery. And in your case, and for persons doing a return, what has been happening is they're not scanning to say, hey, this thing arrived here. They may have delivered it, but have neglected to indicate that they have delivered it. Because we had the we had the issue in reverse, where we had sent out the items, and then persons are going, hey, I'm not seeing the item as it hasn't been delivered. When we go and we check on our back end, we can see that it moved. Because I remember there was one person, she was very concerned, and I looked and I said, well, it's in U.S. Customs, because I can see it's in U.S. Customs. However, the service that has taken over from us to drop it off hadn't scanned that it left, and they hadn't scanned. So then it looked like it was idle for about 6-7 days, and then all of a sudden it was delivered to Amazon. So that the fact that they're not scanning is what's been posing a problem, because we have seen like the customers saying, hey, this thing is taking longer than expected to return. And we said, unfortunately, again, that's kind of out of our hands, because we just go ahead and process the the shipment out. We have been working with our vendors to say, hey, we need you to do a little bit more effort in regards to scanning and checking that these things are going through, because then it puts a little bit more weight on us, because then we always have to go back and check, which we are happy to do. But, to ensure seamless, smooth service, make sure you scan the package.
Okay, because I was just going to ask, what are you doing in terms of that when it comes to your customer?
We literally had a meeting this Wednesday to discuss it, because we said it is becoming a very problem, because again, they're here locally and this is going on in the US, and there's no real recourse for them to do anything. So we want to ensure that our customers can trust that what is happening is happening. So we have spoken to them and said we need to ensure that, hey, you're properly scanning these items as they go through. And even within Amazon, we did have one customer who he did not get his refund, but he came back a little upset and he was going back. But I said, at any time you could have called us, and it's just when he came in, he said so. And when I looked at his label and I checked, I was like, oh, it's 1 day away from delivery. That's why it's not showing up. So we were able to check and look and see what the problem was.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, because it's so weird when I've already received an item and I'm seeing your item is taking longer than, I'm like, well, I already got it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's more human error than anything else.
Yeah. A2I returns, Amazon returns, made easy. And once again, I want you to give them the your location and your number.
Sure. We are located on Port Zante, above First Class Jewelry, opposite No Rush Bar. Our phone number is 767-9684. Or you can reach us online on Facebook at A2I Returns, or www.2ireturns.com.
Sounds good. And you have 5 minutes left that you can do whatever you want with me. Callers, if anyone has any questions for Rondon, you can give us a call. Any questions for A2I Returns? Because
any questions?
Oh yeah, I got questions.
Well, I will say next week we're celebrating Prime Day, which I think is the 15th, and between the 15th and the 17th. So we ourselves are bringing in some items for persons, because we're launching that we're going to be offering persons what we call 50 below deals, and in items that are 50% and below. So we're either going to indicate that where they are online, or we'll bring them in. In this case, we're launching we have a whole set of overstock where we have some iPad Air 2s. They're going for about $299 EC if you're for a regular person, and for the B2B, $250. We also have some hardware equipment. We have like monitors that are going about $500 EC for a 20-inch monitor. So we're trying to do some affordable and quick deals going forward after Prime Day. Again, to just give some awareness about Amazon, but also bring affordable, more manageable prices for us locally, just because, again, ordering an item with the US plus the customs and the duty, it's a bit expensive. So if you can save a deal by getting a better budget deal in terms of the price, I think it makes sense to try and see how we can bring it to the customers. As well as if you're actually looking for something, we do procurement. So then if you come in and you say, hey, I need this, this, and this, we'll go ahead and see how we can accommodate it. If you're a B2B customer, we can also look at your orders and say, hey, this item is, you may have bought it for this amount, but it's actually, if you replace it with this item, which is the same thing, because Amazon has different sellers, you could save 40%. Would you like to do so? So we do allow for us to make some edits and just on behalf of our B2B customers.
Okay. So since your launch here in St. Kitts, have you seen a significant growth in the amount of persons or customers that you serve?
Well, I can't say, because we've only been here a month.
Okay.
So everything has been growth. I mean, for our office right now, it's been a little tight because of the amount of returns we've been receiving. So our biggest concern now is we have to get a bigger space, because we were not, like I said, we were not expecting such large returns.
Wow.
So it is something that we've seen that from we've opened, it's been fairly busy.
Okay, good
and
stuff.
We've appreciated our customers and the fact that they have such trust and good faith in us to take care of their returns.
Oh, that's nice. That's sweet.
That's great.
You had a question, Jamson?
No, not really. I just think it's really good that we finally have this service. Because talk about all those times when I just at the cost of something because I say, it doesn't make sense returning this.
Yeah.
Oh, and one more point before I forgot to mention is, for persons, we also allow for persons who, for whatever reason can't have a credit card, because obviously you need a credit card for online. In our case, when you register with us, you don't need a card. You can do cardless purchases. So instead of you having a card, you can either pay by cash or check or wire transfer, and we'll go ahead and still process the order for you.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Nice.
Okay.
So, folks, you don't necessarily need to have a
maybe
card.
maybe you should look at setting up you have your own A2I Pay spin-off or something.
Okay,
well, we don't need. Well, technically, we don't need to. Because
well, I guess not. Yeah.
Well, no, we don't need to because Amazon, the many departments, Amazon, we have Amazon Pay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can actually say, for example, say it's similar to any portal. So we ourselves use Amazon Pay, but also it is something that you can use from B2B. That if you want to request money from somebody outside, they can then facilitate it through Amazon Pay.
Oh,
Okay, quick question. When it comes to authors, do you guys help with the cost of bringing in books? Like, say you get the author's copies that they want to be able to sell here locally. Is there a way that we can get better rates with you guys?
When you say to bring in authors.
So when you write a book, you can order author's copies, which they then give you. You don't pay the markup. You just pay the cost. I'm saying that still, if we can bring down that cost even more, it will be beneficial for authors to sell at better prices, if you guys have gone into that or
well, under the wholesale, there's actually for discounted items for businesses, for any business. So, for example, if you're a chemistry lab equipment, there's a specific department that deals with those things. Okay. In regards to literacy and offering, there's actually another department, not necessarily ours, so that's like an inquiry can do. Because what I try to explain to persons is that Amazon, you have Amazon in general, the business, but Amazon has different departments and sections. Even when we were opening, as you can see, I'm wearing blue, and persons are like, well, why are you blue if Amazon's orange? And I said, Amazon sales is orange, Amazon logistics is blue, Amazon business is purple, Amazon with food-related Whole Foods is green. So there's actually a color code and a branding, and there are different departments. Yours is under the literacy, literary, because obviously they have the Kindle and those types of products. So they have a whole department that deals with self-publishing, production of books, all of those things. We've never really tapped on it, but from what I can recall, from what I've known, it is that you do to get a discounted rate in terms of creating your books, or you can have the books created on demand, as in when an order is placed, then the book is created and then they send it out.
Yeah, I'm operating more on the premise of wanting to sell the books locally, so physically getting them here at a better price. I'm really asking for
technically
listening.
it would be locally, because like I said, they would ship it anywhere. It would just be a case, it would be more cost effective in regards to that, because they will print as needed versus as you having a bulk of them there. They do the bulk ordering, but that in itself, I said I would have to check and inquire about, but I know definitely if you're doing as needed, they definitely give you a discounted rate in regards to getting that done.
All right.
Okay, it's 1 minute past 10 o'clock, and once again, folks, A2I Returns, A2IReturns.com, and you are located in, once again, give them.
Port Zante, above first class, across from No Rush.
Great. Random car. So we now have access to easy returns for Amazon purchases, and you're welcome whenever you want, because you're here a month ago, and it actually seemed like it was 2 months.
I swear, it seemed longer.
Well, we will be back, because we're trying to work on some other projects. As I said, we've been growing a little bit faster than we thought.
That's a good complaint to have.
Yeah, because even other islands have made requests. So we're trying to see how we can accommodate all the demand, which again requires us to do some changes. So I'm definitely going to be back to just update the public as to what we're going on with us and how
I'm sure
we
they
can provide
appreciate
better
that.
service to them.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so that's going to do it for our little segment here on A2I Returns. A2ireturns.com, that's the website. They're located at Port Zante. That's also going to do it for today's edition of Island Tea.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're going to get Enoite here next week. I think he said next week.
Yeah, he got to be ready for the camp.
Just run through the camp again quickly.
Oh, yes. The AI Python immersion camp for kids from 13 to 17, starting on the, let me get the dates correct, because I keep mixing up whether the 15th or the 13th of July is a Monday. So one of you guys can tell me which day that is. But it's not this coming Monday, it's the Monday after.
Oh, okay.
And
it's free.
So if you guys are still interested, there are, I don't believe I sent you guys the poster, right? Mm-hmm. That is my bad. I will send it to you.
I can share it.
You guys can check the Facebook page. But there's a phone number that you guys can call if you have any questions. It's 669-0673 or 763-3427. So if you have any kids who you don't want to be at home just on their tablets all day, or you don't know where to send them to get some proper screen time with us between the hours of 9 in the morning.
So they can actually become productive on the tablet.
Of course, and start creating stuff. And I said, create a chatbot to respond to your parents when they're asking you questions you don't want to talk to them.
That's kind of devious, but anyway.
Hey, it's working smart. That's what kids do.
And it's going to be at the Kuna Conference Center, right?
And you'll be picked up if you guys don't have transportation. Pickup times will start from, I think, 7:45 or so to get there for 8:30.
Okay.
And bring your own food and bring your own laptop.
Okay, great. Well, we're a little bit over time. Okay, so we're going to shut it down now. That was it for today's Island Tea. Okay, I hope you have a great weekend, Rondon.
Yep. To all.
Enoite.
A great one. Be safe.
Okay.
Same place, same time on Monday.
We look forward to hearing about the additional A2I returns services whenever they come to market. Okay, guys, everyone have a great weekend.
You too.
Feel the magic happening. Campari.